One of the most important aspects of Stoicism is the concept of resilience, and accepting change is, in essence, an exercise in resilience. Stoicism teaches us that even while changes in our environment may feel overwhelming, we can adjust, persevere, and grow stronger as a result of these changes. The concept of resilience encompasses not only the ability to persevere through adversity, but also the means of transforming difficulties into chances for one's personal development. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who had been a slave in the past but later became a famous teacher, frequently reminded his students that misfortune is an opportunity to exercise virtue. Stoicism encourages us to question ourselves. What virtue can I practice in this situation? If we are confronted with a transformation that occurs suddenly, the Stoic perspective reminds us that every change is an invitation to build and strengthen our character, whether it be patience, courage, or adaptability. This is true regardless of the attribute in question. Gratitude is another skill that must be developed when accepting change. When we are going through a period of change, thankfulness can assist us in shifting our emphasis from what we have lost to what is still there and what we may acquire. Finding value in what each moment delivers is the essence of gratitude. It is not about dismissing the difficulties that life presents. We can develop resilience and emotional strength via the practice of thankfulness, which in turn enables us to deal with change more elegantly. The Stoic philosophers frequently recommended that we should remind ourselves regularly of the transient nature of everything that is around us. This not only helps us develop a more profound appreciation for the experiences we have, but it also helps us to be more resilient against the fear of losing them. Another essential component of the Stoic attitude to change is what is known as acceptance. Acceptance does not mean complacency or inactivity. Rather, it is an acknowledgement of what we can and cannot control in response to the circumstances we find ourselves in. Stoicism encourages us to recognize the boundary between the things that we can manage and those that we are obligated to accept. By way of illustration, we might not be able to influence a change that occurs at work, yet we can manage our response, our frame of mind, and our concentration on adjusting to the new circumstances. Acceptance in this sense transforms into a sort of empowerment, making it possible for us to anticipate change with an open mind rather than fighting against it with an unnecessary amount of frustration. Stoicism advises us to avoid falling into the trap of excessive concern about the future by encouraging us to remain in the here and now. When we over-focus on what might occur, we frequently limit ourselves from making the most of the situation we are in at the moment, even though preparation is beneficial. The Stoics recommended that we direct our efforts toward performing to the best of our abilities in the here and now, with the self-assurance that we will be able to deal with whatever the future brings. We can acquire the mental clarity that is necessary for making decisions that are intelligent, even amid turbulent transitions, when we remain rooted in the present. Mindfulness enables us to perceive both difficulties and answers that we might otherwise overlook, which enables us to navigate change more effectively. This helps us navigate change more effectively. Stoicism, at its foundation, does not reject the difficulty of change. Rather, it provides a disciplined approach to interact with it constructively. Journaling, thinking about one's ideals, and considering multiple viewpoints on a situation are all examples of Stoic practices that can help cultivate a mindset that views change as a chance for self-discovery and progress. Embracing change with Stoicism. Accepting change is one of the most difficult tasks that one can face in life. Nonetheless, it is an unavoidable component of the human experience. Many people have feelings of uncertainty, anxiety, or resistance when there is a possibility of change occurring in their lives. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that fosters resiliency, adaptation, and a focus on what we can control. Stoicism provides important insights into how we may embrace change with greater serenity, purpose, and clarity. Stoicism was developed and is being practiced today. In Stoic philosophy, the concept that a significant portion of life is beyond our control is at the core of the philosophy. However, how we react to it is within our control. This idea, which is frequently referred to as the control dichotomy, proposes that we ought to accept the things that we are unable to alter and instead focus our efforts on the things that we can influence. principally our decisions, our thoughts, and our perspective. When we are confronted with change, this perspective can be useful because it directs our attention to the things that we can achieve, rather than the uncontrollable aspects that frequently cause us stressful feelings. Stoicism tells us that the only thing that remains the same in times of transition is our capacity to choose how we will react to the situation. Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca emphasize the importance of living in harmony with nature as a foundation for a healthy lifestyle. This did not mean that the Stoics were willing to give in to their whims or live a passive lifestyle. Rather, it meant that they understood that everything, including change, was a natural process. Alteration is not an adversary. Rather, it is an essential component of the natural world and a driving force that molds us as individuals. Stoicism recommends that we acquire a worldview that enables us to regard change as a chance to align ourselves with the flow of nature. We discover a strength within ourselves that supports resilience and growth when we choose to stop battling against the current of change and instead learn to adapt to whatever comes our way. Stoicism encourages individuals to cultivate an objective perspective on the happenings in their lives, which is an essential component of accepting change. The Stoics held the belief that events in and of themselves are meaningless. The only thing that gives them significance is the value judgments that we attach to them. We frequently experience rapid reactions that arise from fear of the unknown or loss when we are confronted with substantial changes, such as the loss of a job, the termination of a relationship, or the relocation to a new area. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us to assess these shifts without labeling them as good or bad. Through the process of reframing our perspective, we can prevent pain that is not essential and open ourselves up to discovering new alternatives that may not have been obvious before. According to Stoicism, which acknowledges that everything is in a state of change, the idea of impermanence is also a fundamental component of the philosophy. It was Marcus Aurelius who observed that life itself is a series of changes, and that to wish for things to remain the same is to fight life itself at its very core. Stoicism instructs us to cultivate the skill of letting go, which involves acknowledging that things, people, and circumstances are only transient forms of existence. We can enjoy moments for what they are and get ourselves ready for the inevitable transformations that are going to occur as a result of this acceptance. When we accept the concept of impermanence, we stop being afraid of the conclusion of things and instead realize that every conclusion is accompanied by the possibility of a fresh start. This helps us become mentally prepared for change and nurture gratitude for what we already have. Stoic methods such as negative visualization, in which one imagines life without their existing comforts or familiar surroundings, are examples of such activities.